All right, we'll call the meeting to order.
Pledge allegiance to
Pledge
the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome, everybody. We'll start with the roll call, please.
Hands here. Houston,
Here.
Hannah,
Here.
Moore,
Here.
Versater,
Here.
O'Laughlin.
Yes.
Jensen is excused.
My wife told me to speak in a lower voice, so.
Oh, nice.
Now what the public asks.
Next, we'll move to the approval of the agenda. Can I have a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. Next, move to item D. Friday was 1 year from when Bob Hill passed away. I know we all miss him, but what I'd like to do is I'd just like to have a moment of silence in his recognition. Could everybody please stand for me? Okay, thank you, everybody. Next, we move to the public comment portion. Is there anybody, doesn't appear so. Nothing, Dave? Okay, good. Next, we move to the proclamation. This is the 54th Annual Professional Municipal Clerks Week from April 30th until May the 6th. Whereas the office of the professional municipal clerk, a time-honored and vital part of local government, exists throughout the world, and whereas the office of the professional municipal clerk is the oldest among public servants, and whereas the office of the professional municipal clerks provides the professional link between the citizens, the local governing bodies and agencies of the government at other levels, and whereas the professional municipal clerks have pledged to be ever mindful of their neutrality and impartiality, rendering equal service to all, whereas the professional municipal clerks serve as the information center on the functions of local government and community, whereas professional municipal clerks continually strive to improve the administration of the affairs of the office of the professional municipal clerk through participation in education programs, seminars, workshops, and the annual meetings of their state, provincial, county, and international professional organizations, whereas it is most appropriate that we recognize the accomplishments of the office of the professional municipal clerk. Therefore, I, Brad Blackner, May of Independence, do recognize the week of April 30th to May 6th as Professional Municipal Clerks Week, and further extend appreciation to our professional municipal clerk's office and to all professional municipal clerks for the vital services they perform and the exemplary dedication to the communities they represent. And I'm signing this at this time. Need Matt to attest that? Okay. Okay, next we move to the consent agenda. So I need a motion to accept and approve the consent agenda that approves the following: the minutes of the April 10, 2023 regular meeting and the Dollar General Store 2329 Class B retail alcohol license, effective March 1, 2023 through February 29. Okay. Okay, thank you. 2024. At least I'm smart enough to know that.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. That's just a consent. So all in favor? Oppose? That passes. Move to the financials next. I need a motion to approve the claims for payment.
Okay.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion with regard to
I
that?
had one question on the fourth one down, DBA Air Pro Duct and Handyman. $6,049. What was that for?
The Falcon Civic Center had some ductwork cleaned out.
Is that the only building we have that needs done? Or we got?
I don't know what spurred them to get it done. I just know they got it done.
That must have been in their budget then.
It was.
It was.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Passes. Next, we move to the budgeted and monthly transfers. This is informational only. Does anybody have any questions with regard to those? Hearing none, we'll then move on to the revenues and expenses to date. Again, this is informational purposes. Does anybody have any questions with regard to any of the departments and any of the revenues and expenses from them? Hearing none, we'll move to item 4, which is the airport install runway and taxiway lighting project. Pursuant to the agenda, I'm going to now convene a public hearing for the airport install runway and taxiway lighting project. Does anybody have any comments with regard to the runway taxiway lighting project?
You know, there's been questions about it. That's gonna be money saving. And can you prove it? It's gonna be money saving.
They had the folks from Iowa Light.
Thank you, Dan.
They had the folks from Iowa Light and Power come and do the measuring and everything. And I don't remember how long. It's like a 6 or 7 year payback. Do you remember, Brett? I think it was 6 or 7 years and it pays itself back in savings.
I looked back at some of the emails and I couldn't clearly define how long it was gonna take to pay it back. I'm still digging on that, but we do know that there will be a savings to it. For the fact of, one, we chose to not go with the heaters on them.
Right.
So that was gonna be, with those being on there, was gonna project that out quite a bit further. If that answers.
Yeah, it was like 9 or 10 years with the heaters.
Right.
And you don't know how many years? But you do?
That, it was done, that study was done before I was, so I went back and tried to dig through that. Cause I asked Jim up at the light plant what it was, and he's like, I don't know.
Yeah, that was probably a couple years ago that they come out and did that.
It's a great idea. It's just modernized. I mean, just they want to get more efficiency and
Yeah, well, you save money on running LED lights to start with.
that's the big.
Yep, and you have to replace the bulb so much less frequently.
Yeah.
The maintenance involved, and they're much more reliable, so all in all, it'll save time and money.
The labor expense and everything on changing bulbs, that's huge.
And what is our cost for that?
It's 10%.
Which is what?
About 24,000.
Maybe it's a little more than that.
Yeah.
About 40,
About,
wasn't it?
about
Oh,
40,
40,000, yeah.
about
that's right,
40,000,
yeah.
42.
So different.
Yeah,
440.
42. Yeah, there you go.
It
My
is
dyslexia.
part of, the airport did have all the funding in their CIP for this, so it's not like we have to come up with a revenue source for it. We've already got the money. We just need to transfer it from the airport CIP to the project.
And just a reminder for citizens watching, every year we get 150,000 from the FAA as part of our. So that allows us to do these projects and improve our services and modernize.
Yeah, we get the money we can save up to 3 years at a time to use for a major project.
And the funds that we got from the government was 90% of the project.
Actually, that was 4 years. That was 4 years.
No,
It's,
I think it was 600.
so I had a call on that, and so I looked back and checked it, it's roughly 10%.
Yep.
okay, thank you. I'll now close the public hearing and the city clerk will note all comments for the record. Next, we move to item 4B, which is the approving of the plans, specifications and estimate of costs for the airport runway install and taxiway lighting project. So I need a motion to approve a resolution that approves the plan specifications and estimate of the cost for the airport install runway taxiway lighting project.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second, and we have this information from Bolton and Mink already, but I guess it'll come up in C with the award itself. So I need a roll call vote on the approval of the resolution for the plans and specs.
Houston,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Crusader,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Callahan. Yeah.
Passes 6-0. Next, we move to item C, which is the award of the contract. I need a motion to approve a resolution awarding the contract for the airport install runway and taxiway lighting project to Voltmer, VOLTMER Inc. in the amount of $423,544, contingent upon the receipt and execution of the grant agreement with the FAA and approval of an application for federal aviation funding assistance.
So move.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion with regard to that? I think what's interesting here is that that Bolton and Mink's estimate was $559,025. So both of the two bids were significantly under that amount, which was really good to see, as opposed to what we've been seeing in a lot of other situations involving bids. So that's a roll call vote then on the approval of that.
Hannah,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Crusader,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Callahan,
Yes.
Houston.
Yeah.
Passes 6-0. Next we move to hearings and ordinances on 5. The first is a setting of a public hearing for the fiscal year 2023 budget amendment number 2. So I need a motion to set a public hearing date of May the 8th, 2023, 5:00 p.m. for the fiscal budget year 2023 amendment number 2.
So moved.
Sorry.
I have a motion and a second. This would be a roll call. I'm sorry.
It's consent.
Oh, it's consent. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 6-0. Next, we move to the resolution authorizing and approving a loan agreement providing for the issuance of general obligation corporate purpose bonds series 2023 and providing for the levy of taxes to pay for the same. So first, I need a motion to approve a resolution authorizing and approving a loan agreement providing for the issuance of general order corporate purpose bonds series 2023 and providing for the levy of taxes to pay for the same.
Second.
We previously discussed this on March the 23rd of 2023. This is just the information from Dorsey Whitney so that we have the actual wording of the resolution itself. So any further discussion with regard to this? Hearing none, we'll move to the roll call vote then.
Moore,
Yes.
Crusader,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Callahan,
Yes.
Houston,
Yes.
Hannah.
Yes.
Passes 6-0. Next, we move to other business, which is, we'll start with the commercial restoration rehab grant. I need a motion to approve the commercial restoration rehab grant for Hardig Drug in the amount of $11,471.86 for the 3 sides receiving work. First, I need that motion.
So move.
I have a motion and a second.
Why would the city get involved with that?
This is part of a program that the city has with regard to facades and improvements of the downtown area. And it's based upon the amount of money is based upon the number of sides that they're actually working on. So they'll be working on 3 sides. So that's why the number comes up to $11,471.86.
Okay, is this for the former or the new location?
The new location.
Bills.
Sorry, well, I should have clarified that.
Considered downtown too?
Yes.
Doesn't necessarily specify downtown. It's just the ones that have been done in the past seem to be more downtown, but it could be done anywhere.
The program outlines that there should be an emphasis on historical buildings, but it doesn't preclude other buildings in the city from being available or being eligible for the program as well. So this is a it's a location that is on one of our it's on First Street, just on the west side of the bridge.
Yeah.
So it's something that would be eligible under that program.
And we did look at other options. They had applied for some additional financing above and beyond that, which we felt they didn't. It wouldn't be a benefit to us or them, so we declined in terms of the
Do we have this money budgeted already?
11,000.
So what I'll do is on the tax increment finance report that I have to certify to the county by December 1st for the next following fiscal year, I will ask the county for the money and then we will issue them the money. So it's not this current fiscal year or it's not fiscal 24, it'll be in fiscal 25 when they are able to get the money from us, because that's when I'll get it from the county.
Now, does the current Hardy Drug downtown, they got money also for that building, correct? What's
That's
Hardy Drug?
something completely
That's
different,
different.
and we'll talk about that at another time.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so
Is this money that's gonna be paid back to the city, or this is the city's obligation?
Yes.
it'd be the obligation. And we've looked at this for various other things along the facades in First Street itself and some of the areas where, keeping in mind that the area closest to the river itself, it's in the floodplain, it doesn't qualify for any of the federal or the state funding. So if the people that have those particular commercial buildings were to apply for this, they would be eligible as well. But this is such a small drop in the bucket compared to the actual cost that it would do to have to actually restore it. Meaning, we're only paying a small portion of what it would cost. The rehab, if we were to rehab Chung Garden or one of the ones down near the end of the street there, the cost of that to the owner of the building itself would be, I don't know, probably $40,000-$50,000 at least to do the facade work. And I think our maximum on one side is
It's
$5,000.
5,000 per side or 33 1/3% of the total project, whichever is lower.
So you can see that this
Right.
is just an assistance. It's not something that we're
How far west are we talking about that this is extending our downtown?
I think it
Limits 10th Street Northwest.
Yeah.
So anything beyond that is not eligible for extra money.
I don't think there's an actual limit on it.
Yeah, it was this, everything that Harding Drug, the company has supplied to us was discussed at the February 6th committee of the whole this year. So all of this information was there and it was talked about.
Oh,
It's just at that time, they were, from what I knew, there was still negotiations of them buying the building.
right.
I just don't recall that there was any talk about the city committee money for that.
It's just kind of a nice, hey, you're, revamping a building down there and this is our way of like helping
Okay,
you
now,
recoup some of the costs.
There's a complex of offices just to the west of them. What's preventing them from,
Nothing.
they could do the same thing?
Anybody could apply.
Anybody can apply. The council can decide whether or not they want to award.
Okay, all right.
Even the savings involved.
Has there been a track record of the city
They could be eligible.
spending money, taxpayer money for fronts of other?
It's tax increment financing, so it's just in general the incremental value that the city in property taxes.
If any town may apply.
Good.
Really? That's downtown?
Yeah.
Really?
Well, it
Well,
doesn't necessarily have to be downtown, it's just past ones have been done before. It could be somebody buying Charlie's if they wanted to, just to
Yeah.
throw
Pizza Hut.
something out there.
But remember, it's commercial. This doesn't apply to your house, Tom.
So I'll read you the first paragraph out of the program. It says, this program is designed to assist our commercial properties in restoration, rehabilitation, and new construction with supplemental monetary assistance. The intent is to provide financial assistance to enhance our community. Preference will be given to projects that restore, maintain, or blend with the historic architecture. It's that last sentence that tries to kind of tie it into the downtown historic architecture area. But there's nothing in the plan that says that this program can only be used in a certain area of the city.
Okay.
As long as it's a commercial use, commercial property, anybody would be eligible. Now, again, the council can always deny an application if that's what the council wants to do.
Okay.
I would ask that you enumerate the reasons for denial, though, if you're going to deny. Make my life a little easier later.
You just say no. Boy, think a lot about it.
I think it's to the city's advantage in the long run of investing in our businesses within the community and everything, and showing that, we want to try to maintain and help as much as we possibly can, as long as it doesn't go way overboard.
I think that's kind of what we're doing here.
Any further discussion with regard to this? If none, we'll call for the roll call vote then.
Crusader,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Callahan. Yes. Houston,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Moore.
Yes,
Passes 6-0. Next we move to the supplement agreement with the Iowa DOT. I need a motion to approve the 2023-2024 supplemental agreement with the Iowa Department of Transportation.
So move.
Second.
The motion is second. This is the amount of $8,321.30, which is the same amount of last year's supplemental agreement. Any further discussion with regard to that motion? Hearing none, that would be a roll call vote as well.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Callahan. Yes. Houston.
Yeah,
Hannah,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes,
Crusader.
Yes.
Passes 6-0.
Yeah.
Next we move to the other business number 7, which is the police department remodel proposal request. Let's start with just having the motion itself in a second. The motion is to approve the proposal request for the police department remodel project.
so move. Second.
Okay. One thing I wanted, Dave may want to come up and talk about this,
Yeah.
but I want to, the project itself is completely within the budget that we have. The completion itself, they have not had any add-ons that we've been involved in. We are on target.
So let's, yeah, as I say, let's,
Last today, and again, this is unofficial, so don't take it, but I see no more add-ins from this point on. I only maybe see some deducts coming down the road. The last figure I got, and again, unofficial, is $600,750. I'm at 750 over the 600. And we started out on a $655,000, 400 and some dollar project. So I've got it down to $600,750. So in looking at it, if you remember when you walked into the canopy, part of the bid that we were going to replace was the soffit underneath that canopy because it was all wavy. And some of that fascia was going to get painted. And also the gables up above. Just to throw it out there, we didn't know where we were at the time to find out what it would cost if we did metal cladding over all the fascia and soffit all the way around the building. And again, it wasn't something that was approved. It was just said, okay, let's take a look at it. And the bid came back that you have in front of you. I did find out today that there's about a $2,500 deduct if we would go with this bid. So there'd be $2,500 off it for the lack of paint that would have to go up, that the painters wouldn't have to do if we do this. So there's two ways to look at this. Number one, if we did it, we could get it all done. Susie and I talked about it with Matt, and knowing that it's an overage, we would have to find the money somewhere else, not in that construction area. And if we had it done, it would just all be done immediately. We wouldn't have to worry about it in 3-4 years. At some point, we're going to have to. Some of that wood on around the windows really needs an upgrade, as well as some of that fascia and soffit. But I'm also gonna tell you the other side of it too. If we wait, then we'd have about a $2,500 on the 10% that gets tacked on when you go through a bid project through the architecture and all those people as well. So in front of you, I'm coming to you and telling you, yeah, if we did it right now at the 25,000 and complete that project, we wouldn't have to go back and spend another dime on it in 3 years. If not, we can budget for it within my CIP and do that. But I did want to bring it to you and let you know where we're at with it.
What's a circulation pump? Isn't that something that for water, for air, for?
So what that was, and I can show you a picture of it after we're done. The circulation pump fits up to the hot water heater in that. And when they pulled that off, it was so heavily jammed up with lime and everything else that we were at the point, and that was one of those days where they called me and said, come look at this. I went and looked at it, and they said, we need to replace this. You can't use this again.
No.
And we went ahead. That was one of those things throughout the project where I've taken stuff away and added stuff in basically because we had to. So that was already done. Like I said, the big one is just the fascia soffit and outside trim work. Ralph, you had something?
Yeah, but you just answered that part.
So
The other question I have is if we didn't do it right now, you're gonna spend about 2,500 in painting.
Well, but understand that the 2,500 deduct that comes from the painting is already built within that budget, so we wouldn't end up going another 2,500 over. That would be within the budget.
Right.
Yeah.
However, if you go this route and not do that painting, you're saving that 2,500
Correct.
where you're 3 years down the road, and also with the way everything escalates, 3 years down the road, this is gonna be more money yet.
Correct. We would spend 2,500 to paint something that we're gonna flat over in about 3 years.
Exactly, which is not logical.
I
How much ARPA money we have?
And the other question I have dealing with
You
the
could use ARPA to pay for
police
that.
department, since that was before my time.
Yep.
Okay.
Was all the air conditioner units all checked and
They're in.
efficient and running and everything?
They're new ones. They're in.
Oh, the new ones are in. Okay.
So part of the money savings that we got from this project due to the tight window on the bids was when the HVAC people came out, they looked at all of the units and said, okay, we need that many. Once we actually got to sit down with them, we said, we don't need that many. Let's cut those back. So we found cost savings in that area. And that helped us to put some things in that we didn't think we could otherwise, like the window blinds, things like that.
Informational purposes, we have ARPA money remaining 47,348.71. So we can use ARPA money for this, so we wouldn't have to take it from someplace else in the budget.
Yeah, did you have a question? I'm sorry.
So are we doing the windows in this price or not?
The windows stay, the windows, if we did all the windows in this place,
Like the trim around them, it's in good
just
shape,
the trim where we put the metal, everything else is fine.
and we're doing that now with
This would be a part with the metal surrounding those windows where it's a wood piece now. If you've been up there recently, you've seen
Yeah.
on that front window to the left how bad that piece of wood is. This would encapsulate that and make it work out.
And windows are down, how many years do you think down the road?
Those windows are actually in pretty good shape.
Yeah.
The only reason I would see that we'd want to replace those windows, because they're sealed, they don't open. So we have a closed facility, so they also don't end up getting water and rain into them. I think the only reason we want to do something like that in the future is to try and get some more energy efficiency out of the place. But that's a big bill to do all those windows, and especially with that brick building, I think the energy efficiency is going to be pretty good anyway. So.
Any other questions?
I would make a motion.
Well, we have a motion.
Got it.
Yeah, I wanted to do the motion first before, so we could do the discussion. So we've already got the
Thank you.
motion, so.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you.
Also, I've heard the comments
Amend the motion.
that people that listen at home on TV, like you
Amend
get up
the
there and
motion to
update
use this
us about
funding
this.
source.
Yeah.
She said we don't need to because we've already got a.
To be quite honest with you, there's things that's over the- there's little bits and pieces that I forget to tell you about each and every time. And it's not because I'm trying to keep information, it's just because there's so much with it every day. 3 to 4 phone calls, 2 visits, emails. I'm just trying to bring it in on budget is the number one thing I'm trying to do, so we save the taxpayers money and we don't go over that.
They like hearing the changes and stuff, so.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for your work.
And David's done an excellent job of bringing this thing in where our budget was. We were so high to begin with, and we, when council approved this, the concept was that we were going to work with them and get the number down to where we needed it to be, but in the back of our mind, we always thought that we were going to be a little over the $600,000 number, and Dave's just done a great job of getting it in line, and thank you for that. We appreciate it. We don't, in terms of the motion itself, we do not have to amend the motion to say that part of the money is coming from ARPA, because we've already had a prior motion saying we're using ARPA funds for this particular project. So with the approval of this motion, we would then be able to use the ARPA funds for that extra money. So if there's no further discussion, this would be a roll call vote.
How much ARPA money, or would we be using?
Well, we would be using approximately $20,000. Is that right, Dave?
I think the bid all in all is about 25 with the deduct to the paint side.
22.5.
It'll bring the total project cost back under the 600. It's just different pots of money that we're using, but roughly figured about 23.
Thanks.
Yeah, cause this says 31,
Yeah, but the other two items have already been,
They're part of that 600,000 number that's already been, that we've already discussed.
Did you say earlier there's like 47,000 sitting in there or something?
there is 47,349.71.
So I thought.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the money's already there and we're still gonna have money still setting.
There'll still be some extra left over there, yeah. Mhm.
Okay, any further discussion then? Move to roll call vote.
Callahan. Yes. Houston.
Yes.
Hannah.
Yes.
Moore.
Yes.
Goddard.
Yes.
McLaughlin.
Yes.
Passes 6-0. Next we move to, reports. So council members, Mike, do you want to start? Do you have anything?
Yeah, I helped a gentleman cutting trees and things like that Saturday. I was speaking with Matt about it. We're getting pretty full on our leaf and tree cutting. So,
I'll talk with Brad during the department head meeting tomorrow about it.
I do know they're supposed. In theory, the tree company was supposed to be here last week, but something broke, so they're hoping to be here the end of this week.
That was the big question, is when they're gonna do the next shred.
Yeah.
You know, or the next shipping session of it.
So I think it's fingers crossed this week.
that's
Good.
not true.
Good.
So,
Sir?
Yeah, I don't have a lot. I did hear that, we began street patching, which is wonderful, doing some, and I noticed the one day that I was gonna reach out or say something that began that day. And it sounds like new equipment's doing a really good job as well, working out really well.
They did the first one this morning.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
Good, glad to hear that. Ralph, did you have something?
I actually, don't, well, I do have a question. Dealing with the chipping of the wood and everything, does the city turn around and sell that? All the ground up, and chipped up wood to somebody, or what is done with it?
we chip it and grind it up. It's my understanding it's free for the public to pick up.
It's free
It's
for
it's free for anybody to use.
independent residents to pick up and use.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I was just curious if we did anything with it.
Yeah.
Good.
Deb,
Nothing.
Tom?
Can't the attorney be here for the council of the whole next week?
Sure.
Okay, I'd like that.
Okay.
Got a question, couple questions for him. Thank you. Otherwise, everything's well.
Jen? You want to go next, Matt?
Go ahead, and then I'll go.
Okay, I just want to, some of you may have already gotten your letters, but I wanted to just thank the second graders at St. John's for the nice letters to me. I appreciate that. Give you a quick update. What Dave didn't say is not only are we coming in at the budget numbers for the police station, but in addition to that, when they gave us their original quote, they were talking about perhaps not having this done until the end of June. We are expecting, if everything goes according to plan, we will be moving in on May the 15th. So that gives us time to be able to get out of the place we're at now, terminate the lease there. We've got an agreement with the landlord, the current landlord, in terms of the termination of the lease, and he's got another tenant ready to go as soon as we get out of there. So very happy about that. I think Larson's done an excellent job of not only bringing it in at budget, but also expediting the process so that we could get it completed. And I appreciate that as well. Matt?
I'd been asked a couple meetings ago, more than a couple meetings ago now, about the signage for the schools on the west side. That's all been replaced, changed around, modified, so that it's all more consistent throughout that entire area. Thanks to Dave and the police department for helping with that, as well as the streets guys for going out and doing that. They also installed the no outlet sign there by Subway, so that as you're driving down First Street, you can see that that road doesn't have an outlet, rather than, because there was a like a dead end sign, I think, but you had to turn down the street to see that sign. So now you can see there's a marker there on the main street itself.
I had two residents we're thankful for that also.
It was a very, very low cost thing to do. So if it helps, that's great. The pond on 6th Street, the permits have been applied for the DNR with that, to try to get that property owner up to speed with where he's supposed to be. That's a combined permit process. So it's DNR and the Corps of Engineers both. So they'll review that. It'll be 60 to 90 days is what they told me today, before we hear back on what their outcome is on that. Anyway, let's see what else.
So we won't be able to do anything until that.
It stays as it is right now until the permit gets figured out. He can't do any more work. Now, I will say, if you see him out there doing stuff, it's because he's trying to maintain what he's got. Because he did ask me when we met about, there was places where the rain had washed stuff out because he didn't have ground cover on everything. He didn't have grass on everything yet. So I told him you can maintain, you just can't modify. So help me keep an eye on that, because I don't think Mr. Crawford's going to do this, but I've seen before where people say, well, we're just going to maintain it, and then they keep doing other things and it grows. So I don't think he will do that, but keep an eye on it for us.
Matt, in regards to that pond, I've had some residents ask about how much of a hazard that could possibly be on kids. Stuff and grounding stuff, so
It's not ideal.
What's your situation there?
It's not ideal. For whatever it's worth, I would point out, I mean, we have trails right along the river.
Right.
And the argument there, and it's a valid argument, is that, well, those trails don't have kids going to school on it. It's a valid argument. They don't. But it's not ideal, but we can't prevent a private property owner from doing something with their property like that if they choose to. We can ask them to do other things. We've talked to him about potentially filling it. He's right now not interested in doing that. He wants to see how this permit process goes through. What I had approached him with when I talked to him was, if you're interested in filling it, I can reach out to some people and see if we can help find you some dirt. I'm happy to help do that, but we need to figure out what we can do to work together on it. If that doesn't happen, we could ask him to put a fence up, but notice I'm using the word ask on every one of these things. We can't force him to do anything with it. So, so far I've tried to build a relationship with him, and hopefully that'll work out and we can get to a good part for both parties.
So the city has no ordinances or anything dealing with ponds on
We have-
residential property?
We have ordinances that require you to put a fence in around pools, but not around a pond itself, to my knowledge.
Correct.
So that's where we are with that. The 1st of May at 3:30, we are going to do a walkthrough for the council of the apartments above Hardig Drugstore. So anybody that wants to participate in that on the 1st of May at 3:30, come on out and join us.
He's getting closer.
What day's that fall, do you know?
It's our Monday,
That's the Monday. Yeah, that's the
the
work.
Monday before our work session. Yes,
Next Monday.
yes.
Yeah.
correct.
Yep. And then MHI reached out. I think they had reached out to everybody on the council too. They're having an event on the 1st of May as well for, I can't remember what the name of that event was.
150th anniversary.
Thank you. Yes, they're also starting their canine law enforcement training that week on their campus on the 1st of May. A lot of things going on the 1st of May.
You have the hours on
For the
MHI.
150th, it starts at 1 o'clock.
Yeah,
I believe open to public 1:30 to 6. But
Yeah.
then that invitation said 12:30.
Maybe it was 12. I was thinking they had a thing in the auditorium at 1 o'clock. But I know Charlie over there had reached out for everybody's email addresses, and I provided him the council's email addresses. So you should have an email with an
I do
invitation.
actually stop me for the public's knowledge.
Sure. Yep. And then I found out today Papa Top is relocating to the old car wash over there by the Buttermilk Cafe.
Oh.
So
it'll be about 2 weeks.
yeah, so we're glad to see them staying in town. And then there is a tattoo shop that's going to locate downtown at 112 2nd Avenue Northeast. That's behind Hardig Drug. It's in between Hardig Drug and the Malik Theater there on 2nd Avenue. Just letting everybody know there isn't. Yeah. So, and then we are in the process. We got some information back from Brett over at Office Town. We're in the process of changing the audio visual in this room for the projectors. There won't be a projector up here when we get done. There'll be a TV. There'll be actually 2 TVs mounted on each side of the room. One pointed towards the crowd, one pointed to the dais on each side so that everybody can see the screens a little bit better. Make that work a little bit better so that when we're doing a presentation in here, we don't all have to turn around. Those of us that are sitting with our backs to the wall don't have to turn around and look at that. So that's coming up. Hopefully in the next month or so, we'll get working on that and get moving on that. Yeah,
Where's the money coming for that?
that's coming. It was budgeted in the building.
Coming out of City Hall CIP.
Yeah. Yep. So, and then the only other thing, I will be once again out of the office the 27th of April, which is Thursday, and Friday, the 28th. And then I'll be back in town on the 1st. Well, actually I'll be back in town late on the 30th probably, but I'll be back around for the 1st. So Head back to Lansing again, trying to get everything wrapped up.
We've got new residents coming soon.
You do? Yeah, I sign papers tomorrow, so, yeah.
Good. Any other, staff or Susie, sorry.
Just a reminder, council members, please bring in your code of ordinance books as to the update. Some books I have not seen in over a year. If your book is here, it has been updated.
Anybody else? Dave?
Wednesday night, 6 o'clock at the high school auditorium, we are having our joint public safety tabletop exercise for an airplane crash emergency that is jointly between myself, Chief Hayward with the fire department, and Brett at the airport. This fulfills one of his requirements that he has. The council is invited to attend and observe. It's there won't be much for the tabletop exercise as it goes as a council member because you're limited to here. But if you wish to come out and observe, we'd gladly have you to see what we're doing to improve our public safety services as well as the airport service. So that'll be
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock at the auditorium
Wednesday.
night.
Okay.
Gannett County Emergency Management is going to be the coordinator for the tabletop exercise. If you've never been to a tabletop exercise, it's kind of fun to see and how that learning takes place in a classroom type setting rather than out in the field. And you think, well, that doesn't sound like it's going to do much good. That actually does. It does really well.
I was thinking David said that that there was an RSVP request, and we need to worry about that, or is that?
Just show on up. We'd love to have as many as we can. We did the same thing with the fire. We'd like to know who's gonna come and how many are gonna be there. But the more the merrier, and it shows that we're.
We didn't have any concern as far as how many council people show up for this.
I'll
We
just,
can just notice it.
yeah, I'll just notice it that it's a tabletop exercise. There's no discussion or no decisions being made, but
Yeah, Brett sent a reminder to Susie tonight to make sure it got posted for you all to be able to come.
That's the same thing we're gonna do for next Monday, so.
So hopefully see you there. And like I said, at 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
At the auditorium, and another great cooperative effort on our school to allow us to be out there. This is the second time we did the K-9 law update thing out there here a while back, and now we're doing this. So the school is working very well with us.
Good.
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you.
Well, I guess that would be it then. So I need a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Hi.
Opposed? Passes 6-0.